This is Friday the 13th, the final chapter. It could be, in my opinion, the best Jason movie ever made. I'll get to all that later. First, let's take a quick peek at the movie. First, I loved the creepy opening music. And I thought it was also kind of nice to go over the first three films before what I guess was intended to be the final chapter. But we all know how the story goes. Jason drowns, his mom goes ape and kills the counselors, gets her head lopped off, Jason sees it, Jason unleashes his fury. This movie meant business. Check it out. The final chapter, and then bam, the mask explodes. So sweet. So the movie starts out at the beginning of the end of the third one, which I kind of worded weird. All the bodies of the young kids are found, save for the one survivor, and Jason lay dead, or assumed so, from the axe wound that went to his face. Damn, he's a badass. They load everyone up into the trucks, and off they go to the hospital. Meet Axel, the coroner. I like him, mostly because he's horny and inappropriate. He has a little fling with a cute nurse in the hospital. And yeah, you gotta know they mean nothing to the plot, and they're completely expendable. They sit, they kiss, they have a spat, and then the nurse leaves, as Axel kind of pissed her off, and leaves him to his TV. Let's take a look at her power counting for a second. Have you noticed this? Kind of odd. She wants to be sure. So, Axel puts Jason in the freezer or whatever, and I guess he wasn't paying attention, or forgot how to shut the door, or let's just say it was faulty. Yeah, Axel sits down and watches the weirdest workout program I've seen, and wham, Jason saws his head off. That's kill number one. Jason makes his way into the other room and guts the nurse with, I guess, a scalpel? I'm not really sure. And why are his nails black after just a day? In the first one they were clean, but I'll get back to that one in a moment. Meet Trish Jarvis, played by Kimberly Beck, and Mrs. Jarvis, played by who really cares. But she was in an Elvis movie called Roostabout, whatever that was about. Anyway, they live on Crystal Lake with Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, his first major role in the movie. How they are living on this lake without knowing about its happenings, I'm not really sure. Tommy makes weird masks for some reason. I just thought I'd put that in there. Meet Jimbo, or Dead Fuck, played by Crispin Glover. His first major role at this point for him as well. Him and all his pals are heading to Crystal Lake, and the main course is set for Jason. Check out this doozy of a hitchhiker. She looks worse than Jason with his mask off. Whatever, I'm so glad that she got it. Right through the neck. Man, she's gross. Kill number 3. And what's with this part? We'll talk later, Gordon. Son of Sam, anyone? All the kids arrive and meet the Jarvis family next door. Meet Sam and Sarah. Basically, Sam gets down and Sarah's a nun. Personally, I like Sam. She's hot and she puts out. Just to point one thing out, there's a scene where Trish and her mom are sitting and reading at night, and that's all that happens. And then she says goodnight, and the scene ends there, and they go back to the story. I'm not really sure why that was in there, and what the point of the scene was, but it's a big waste of time. Also, Tommy scores a peep show. Isn't this every boy's dream? You're looking out your window thinking, why can't there be a girl undressing out there? Then he gets busted by his mom. Bummer. And check out this ass shot. A side theme for Jim in this movie is he broke up with a girl by the name of BJ Betty and is on the prowl for chicks, but lacks confidence. We'll check back on Jim later. The group then meets the twins. Basically, one is hot and the other one is kinda if you're drunk, I guess. But they like to party and have fun, so in the group they go. Like any good horror movie, I mean, if you really want to get into the slasher category, every flick needs nudity, breast shots, butt shots, whatever you can throw at us. The skinny dip scene in this is a prime example. I like that Sam was trying to loosen up Sarah a bit. She was so uptight in this movie. The car breaks down in the middle of heading home, and Tommy has trouble with it. They meet Rob Dwyer, a hitchhiker who claims he's out hunting bear, but is really hunting Jason. Rob comes to the house, meets his mother, checked out Tommy's weird masks, and then the film changes scenes over to kids back in the cottage who are just getting underway, the partying that is. Jimbo, or Jimmy, then gives what is possibly the best cinematic dance and one of the most memorable parts of this entire series. Wow, just watch. That's just awesome. When asked about this dance, I heard he said that it was originally to the soundtrack of AC/DC's Back in Black, but you can try to sync that one up for yourself because I really don't see it. Teddy fails at getting some. One of the twins takes a shine to Paul. Sam gets jealous. Jimbo slow dances. Basically, things are starting to happen, and you know that Jason's coming soon. It's like he waits for them to separate. It's all instinct. The hitchhiker says ciao to Trish, and he goes off to track Jason, I guess. Paul pisses off Sam by dancing with one of the twins, and Sam storms off. Sam decides to go for a swim, naked because apparently in 1984 there were no bathing suits. She swims out to the dinghy floating in the water, and then Jason pops out from under the water and spears an arrow right through her. Or maybe it's just a gun or something. Classic kill, number 4. Paul leaves to go look for Sam, and Jimbo makes some slick maneuvers with the twin girl. Well, more like she picked him last, but I like him, so whatever. They head upstairs to go get busy, and Ted is left to strike out with the ugly one. Bummer. Paul spots Sam, swims out to find her dead in the dinghy. He freaks out and swims back to the dock, and bam, Jason spears him right in the rocks, or at least close to it. And that's kill number 5. Although Jason broke Rob's gun with his bare hands. I just wanted to point that out because that is seriously badass. Ted finds retro porn, odd thing to be in the movie, I thought. Jimbo gets laid. Now, kill number 6 is one of the twins, which is off camera, and I'm not huge on, but in terms of off-camera kills, it wasn't bad. The lights go out at the Jarvis house, and the mom ends up getting it. Now, I'm not sure really in what way, because it's another off-camera kill, this one, number 7, and definitely the weakest kill of the film. The kids get home and notice Mom isn't there. The panic slowly begins. Just after Jimbo gets laid, the poor guy goes for some wine to celebrate, and Jason jams a corkscrew in his hand and puts a butcher's knife right through his forehead. Just a little gaff in the film. If you notice, the knife has a cutout for the shape of his forehead, so kind of weak, but whatever, it's a Jason film. So that's kill number 8. The other twin girl gets tossed from the window, but why is the car dented before she even hits it? Whatever, again, it's a Jason film. Kill number 9. The hiker tells Trish about Jason on the loose, and she really freaks out and runs back for Tommy. Teddy gets it alone in the living room, right through the screen. Damn, that Jason is everywhere. Kill number 10. Sarah gets laid, I guess, in the shower, which is a big mistake. We all know you have to be a virgin to have a shot at living. Lights go off in the shower and smash, right through the glass and crushes his face. Kill number 11. Sarah sees her boyfriend and runs downstairs, and Jason throws an axe through the friggin' door. Just awesome. Kill number 12. Trish and Rob go to investigate the other house and the surroundings. Why they think it's safer to leave Tommy alone, I don't know. Rob goes to the basement to check the power, while Trish checks out the massacre that is the rest of the house. In the basement, Rob fights with Jason, announcing, "He's killing me, he's killing me." I'm not sure why they wanted to say this, or if they were worried that it was too dark and they wouldn't see, but it was completely unnecessary. And that's kill number 13. And that's it for kills. 13. How appropriate. To wrap up, they struggle in the house with Jason. Trish eventually strikes his mask off, and Tommy stabs him to death in what should have been the final chapter. In the hospital, Tommy gives a look as though he's psychotic, but in the end, the series only went in the direction that Tommy was emotionally unstable. I started off by saying that this was the best Jason movie made, and still is. He was just a mutant in this one and not a zombie, strong but not too out there. He was still mobile and fast-paced, unlike later ones where he was still, but for some reason lightning, like he would appear out of nowhere, Manhattan being the worst offender for that. It was Crystal Lake, and it's still the old same bag of tricks, but had some history and some closure to it. After this, the Jason films aren't even recognizable to the original chapters. I'm not ripping on the entire series. They each have their own feels to them, and I'm sure people like seeing Jason in different scenarios with different abilities looking slightly different. For me, he belongs in Crystal Lake, and not Earth 2. A couple of things, though. I mentioned the nails before. I mean, they were short and average dirty in the first 2 with him. Then suddenly they are black. Not a big deal. Maybe he willed it to look more badass. One goof-up was in the hospital, and I don't know how they messed this one up. They wheel him in, and his feet are away from them. Then the very next shot, it switches around. That means between shots, at some point, you would have had to actually move him around on purpose. How'd they slip that up? But only noticeable if you're really looking for it. Here's one thing that bugs every horror movie fan. When someone's about to leave a room and get safe, why do they go back? In this movie, why does Trish go back into the basement after Rob has clearly struggled with Jason and died? Rob is dead. So what's the point? Chew the fat with Jason? Are you insane? And yeah, Trish, nail the door shut like it matters with all those windows. In fact, let's take a look at what Jason thinks of your door with nails in it. Anyway, nails don't stop Jason. Also, it kind of bugs me that Trish swings overhand at Jason's mask near the end of the film, but in the close-up, it's underhand. Nitpicky? Yeah, kinda. Also, he was stabbed in the leg in part 3, which was just the other night according to this film. So, did he get new slacks? Because there's no wound mark. If you really watch at the beginning of this film, the mask is actually different in the hospital than it is for the rest of the movie. After Doug's kills, there's actually 2 lines underneath the eyes. So, they did a good job in this film for sure. It's definitely a fan favorite. As a horror fan, it's one of my faves, and a big part of this genre. So, I would give this a solid 9 out of 10, honestly. And if I was going to recommend this to other people, I'd feel pretty comfortable giving an 8.5 out of 10. This is Patrick Slattery for Horror Movie Review Guy saying subscribe, stay tuned, and take care.